Thank you very much, COP President. Well, we now have a very special video to share with you. Ambitious international collaboration is going to be essential to achieve our goals. As many of you will know, a new partnership with South Africa was launched on Tuesday during the World Leaders Summit. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible to bring all the leaders together in person for the announcement, but we have managed to bring them together for the first time virtually in this short video.
Dear colleagues and friends, there is no longer any doubt that climate change presents a critical and urgent threat to humanity. This is so because it will have devastating consequences for our economies and societies if we do not take action now. Bold action must start with accelerated decarbonization of our energy systems. This involves harnessing new technologies to reduce our dependence on high-emission fossil fuels, including unabated coal power. It requires that we move to more sustainable and cost-effective energy sources. While the energy transition is necessary for reducing global carbon emissions, this transition must also be fair and just. For many developing economies, this requires massive investment in alternative energy sources and other infrastructure. It requires substantial support for workers and communities throughout the coal value chain who stand to lose their jobs as well as their livelihoods. A just transition requires finance and support from wealthier nations to enable low and medium income countries to protect employment and to promote development. In South Africa, we have committed to ambitious emission reduction targets. Achieving these targets will require the transformation of our energy system at an unprecedented speed and scale. This will include the decommissioning, the repowering, and the repurposing of coal-fired power stations and the rollout of renewable energy. But our ability to do so will be determined by the extent of support that we receive from developed economies. The political declaration that we announced this week with governments of France, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the United States, as well as the European Union, represents an important breakthrough in this effort. Through this partnership, an initial amount of $8.5 billion will be mobilized over the next 3 to 5 years to support South Africa's just transition to a low-carbon, climate-resilient future. This will enable us to implement our ambitious goals and to develop a model for a just transition that we hope can be used elsewhere. We are entering a brave new world bound together by our common destiny as humanity. We owe this to ourselves, to one another, and to the future generations. I thank you.
One thing that starts to give me confidence or optimism anyway, it's that we are starting to create, for the countries that find it most difficult to transition away from fossil fuels, we're starting to create those coalitions of support to help them to move on. And so to help Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa in his vision, several countries, including the UK, are now working to supply $8.5 billion to help accelerate that transition away from coal, to help decarbonize the South African economy in a major way. And
today, as part of this commitment, the United States, together with the UK, France, Germany, and the EU, is announcing a new partnership with South Africa to help transform their economy to a clean energy economy more quickly. Right now, South Africa is the largest emitter in Africa, due in large part to the heavy reliance on coal for power. By closing South Africa's coal plants ahead of schedule and investing in clean power alternatives for the people of South Africa, and supporting an equitable, inclusive transition in South Africa's coal sector, we're following through on the pledge the G7 partners made in Cornwall to accelerate the transition away from coal in developing countries. And I realize the reliance on coal is consequential.
Cette solidarité est nécessaire car elle rend l'action possible partout où les solutions pour réduire les émissions existent. Un merveilleux exemple a été donné ces dernières semaines avec l'accompagnement que nous avons collectivement trouvé pour aider l'Afrique du Sud à réduire sa dépendance au charbon. C'est ce modèle d'accord qu'il nous faut ensuite bâtir sur la base de notre stratégie. Cet accord témoigne qu'on peut répondre aux défis d'une transition juste, équitable et ambitieuse.
Deutschland wird Teil einer Initiative sein, von der ich glaube, dass sie besonders interessant ist, nämlich einer Just Energy Transition Partnership mit Südafrika, wo wir zeigen, wie wir aus der Nutzung von Kohle aussteigen können. Und ich glaube, das wird ein Pilotprojekt für viele afrikanische Länder sein.
Mr. President, dear Joe, the example you gave of the new initiative with South Africa is an outstanding one, an exemplary one. It's an excellent showcase, indeed, that the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and the European Union are together launching this Just Energy Transition Partnership with South Africa, teaming up with President Cyril Ramaphosa, financially supporting South Africa in making the transition out of fossil fuel and into clean energy. I think this partnership, and I hope it, will be a blueprint for similar partnerships with other countries, and I look forward to our discussion.
Well, no fancy production work there, but some very powerful words. Well, let's hear now from some of the countries represented here on stage about the strive